All right, so today we're diving into something that's kind of blowing up in the sales world right now.
Yeah, it really is.
Artificial intelligence.
Absolutely.
But specifically how it's being used to, get some really interesting insights out of all those sales calls.
Yeah, those calls are gold mines, right?
Totally.
Mm.
And the company we're looking at today is TranscribeIQ, and how they're using AI to unlock that, gold mine of info that's hidden in those gong call transcripts.
And this isn't, some pie in the sky thing either.
Yeah.
This is real world stuff that sales teams are using like right now.
Exactly. We're all about the practical application here. And we've got 3 of TranscribeIQ's blog posts to guide our deep dive today.
Great.
Bridging Sales and Success, The Smart Seller's Secret, and The Ultimate Guide to Deal Progression Analysis.
Those are some good ones.
Yeah, they really dig into it. So we'll pull out the need-to-know stuff so you can actually use it.
Love that. And I think a good place to start is with a problem that anyone who's ever worked like anywhere has probably experienced. The dreaded handoff.
Ugh, don't even get me started.
Right. Like you get passed from department to department and nobody seems to know what's going on.
Oh my gosh, I spent a week one time trying to fix a billing issue, and I swear I got transferred at least 10 times.
The worst. And it's not just annoying. In sales, a messy handoff like that, it can actually cost you money.
It makes sense when you think about it. Your sales team closes a deal, great. But then what? Who's taking care of the client, making sure everything goes smoothly?
Exactly. And if that information isn't flowing how it should, things can fall apart pretty quickly.
Okay, so let's talk about this handoff headache, because that Bridging Sales and Success article really gets into the weeds.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Information overload, details slipping through the cracks, timelines that don't match up. I mean, we've all been there.
For sure. And it's interesting. The article points out something that I think often gets overlooked.
Okay, what's that?
Misaligned incentives. Like, yeah, sales teams, they're usually rewarded for closing deals.
Right. Right.
But what about after that sale is made?
I see what you're saying.
The folks who have to actually make it all happen, they're the ones stuck dealing with the fallout if things aren't set up right from the get-go.
Right. It's like throwing someone the keys to a car and being like, good luck, hope you know how to drive this thing.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
No wonder there's so many bumps in the road.
Okay, so this is where AI comes in to save the day, right?
Exactly. But let's be clear here. This isn't just slapping a fancy AI label on something and calling it good.
So what's actually happening?
TranscribeIQ is going deeper. They're using AI to actually analyze what's being said on those gong calls.
Oh, so it's not just like some surface level data analysis.
Nope. This is about understanding the nuances of those conversations. Who's saying what it really means for closing the deal and then keeping those clients happy long term.
Okay, now we're talking. And how did they do that?
Well, they've got a couple of different ways, which is great because it gives you options.
Love that.
Need something quick and easy. They have a Chrome extension that works right in Gong. But if you really want to dig deep there again, Teens version gives you these super in-depth automated insights.
I love that there are options. Because, our listeners are all about working smarter, not harder.
Right.
Give me the information I need, but don't make me listen through hours of calls myself.
Nobody got time for that.
Exactly. Time is precious. Speaking of which, these TranscribeIQ articles got me thinking about something else AI can totally revolutionize.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Deal audit.
Deal audits. I know it doesn't sound super exciting at first glance, but
Right. It does sound kind of dry.
it's not what you think. Think of it like a checkup,
Yeah.
but for your sales pipeline.
Yeah.
You go to the doctor to make sure everything's running smoothly, right?
Yeah, catch things early.
Exactly. And it's the same idea with deal audits. It's about identifying problems and, more importantly, opportunities so you can improve your close rate and just make sure that every deal is set up for success from day one.
I like that. A checkup for your sales pipeline. But okay, let's be real for a second. Adding another thing to the to-do list? That's a tough sell sometimes. So convince me. What's the real value here? Why should sales teams make deal audits a priority?
Because a good deal audit, it's not just another task.
Yeah.
It's like a chance to step back
Yeah.
and really see what's working and what's not.
Okay.
It's like proactive problem solving. Instead of waiting for a deal to go off the rails, you're spotting those potential roadblocks early on and finding ways to make things even better.
I'm listening. I mean, I get that. But how does this actually work in the real world?
Well, the Smart Seller's Secret article had a good example. A company called Technova.
Right. I saw that one.
So they're a perfect example of how AI can uncover these hidden things in your sales calls. Those things that could make or break a deal,
Yeah.
but they're not always obvious.
Oh, absolutely.
So for Technova, TranscribeIQ flagged a few things. First, there were some key stakeholders who were hesitant but hadn't like outright said anything. Then there were some potential budget issues that weren't really talked about directly, and even just the overall urgency of the deal. Like, how important was it for them to close quickly?
Wow, that's wild. It's like having this AI assistant who's reading between the lines and telling you, hey, pay attention to this.
Right. It's like having X-ray vision for your sales calls.
Okay, so that's super cool. But here's my question. It's one thing for AI to point these things out, but how do sales teams actually use those insights? Like, how do they bridge that gap from data to actually doing something different?
That's where the human element comes in. That's where those top-notch salespeople really shine. The AI gives you the raw data, the intel, if you will. Then it's up to the sales team to connect the dots, make a plan, and adjust their approach based on what they've learned.
So it's like having the superpowered research assistant gathering all this information, but you still need a skilled detective to interpret the clues and solve the case.
100%. And that's where the real magic happens. But it doesn't stop at individual deals. The ultimate guide to deal progression analysis takes things a step further. It's about seeing patterns and trends over time.
Okay, so instead of just one deal, we're looking at the big picture across our entire sales process.
Exactly.
What kind of insights can we get from that?
Well, imagine being able to track every conversation in a deal and spot patterns that you might not even notice as a human. Like, are there certain phrases that always pop up before a customer walks away?
Oh, that's interesting.
Or do things always seem to stall when a specific objection comes up? This kind of analysis helps you pinpoint those trends and then adjust your strategy so you're not caught off guard.
So smart. And I know the article mentioned a case study with Cloud Secure and TechCorp. What happened there?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It shows just how detailed this analysis can get. So TranscribeIQ was able to pinpoint very specific objections that TechCorp brought up throughout the entire sales process. But here's the really cool part. It also revealed how Cloud Secure sales teams successfully overcame those objections and ultimately closed the deal.
Okay, so talk about actionable insights. That's incredible to have access to that level of detail.
Yeah.
But I also want to address the elephant in the room. All this data, all these amazing insights, it's useless if it doesn't actually change how we sell, right?
Couldn't agree more. It's like having a Ferrari and never taking it out of the garage.
Huh.
The real magic happens when sales teams take those AI-powered insights and actually turn them into action, whether that's refining their pitch, anticipating objections, or even just asking better questions.
Yeah.
The key is to go from data to doing something different.
I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. Data without action. It's like a car without an engine. It's not going anywhere.
Right. And, that brings us to a really important point about AI, as powerful as it is.
Okay.
It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's not here to replace your sales team.
I think some of our listeners out there are probably breathing a sigh of relief right now because there is that fear, right?
Right.
That AI is going to come in and automate everyone's jobs out of existence.
Right.
So it's reassuring to know that the human element is still essential in sales. It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. In fact, what we're seeing is AI actually making those human skills even more valuable.
Right.
It's about enhancing what salespeople are already doing, not making them obsolete.
I love that. It's like giving salespeople superpowers.
Exactly.
But like any superpower, you got to know how to use it right.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on that? How can sales teams really integrate these AI insights without getting overwhelmed or losing that personal touch?
Well, one thing that really stood out to me from these TranscribeIQ articles is how much they emphasize customization and training.
Okay, interesting.
This isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of solution.
Yeah.
You need to tailor it to your specific sales process, your team's strengths, and of course your industry.
That makes a lot of sense because sales is so much about building those relationships, picking up on those little cues, and really adapting to different personalities and situations.
You can't just program a robot to do that.
Exactly. And even as amazing as AI is becoming, we got to remember it's a tool.
Right.
And the person using that tool ultimately determines how effective it's going to be.
It's like having, a really fancy oven.
Okay, I like where you're going with this.
It can help you bake an amazing cake,
Mm-hmm.
but you still need to know your ingredients right.
Right.
You got to follow the recipe and add your own little personal touch.
Exactly. And in sales, that personal touch, that human connection, that's always going to be essential.
Always. So for our listeners out there who are ready to dive into the world of AI-powered sales,
Yeah.
what's the one thing you want them to remember?
Yeah. What's that key takeaway?
Don't be afraid of AI. Embrace it. Use it to your advantage. But remember, it's a tool to enhance your existing skills, not replace them.
Mm-hmm.
So focus on using those AI insights to really hone your approach, improve how you communicate, and ultimately build stronger relationships with your clients.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Huh.
Well, there you have it, folks. A deep dive into the world of AI-powered sales insights with a little help from our friends at TranscribeIQ.
It's been fun.
We talked about how AI is changing the game. From those make-or-break handoffs to individual deal strategy and even long-term trends. It's a brave new world out there, and it's powered by data and human ingenuity working hand in hand.
Couldn't agree more.
Until next time.